Okay, so now that I've tested the product, kind of giving you guys a sample review of what it can do and what it can't do, let's talk little bit about, I know Nothing Fancy calls it philosophy of use, and I don't like always copying him, but it's a pretty good term. Why would you want these? Who would want them? Shit like that. So if you were backpacking or camping or making like a wood-centric or a backcountry-centric go bag or bug out bag, I wouldn't really include these because I did bring the scale out with me today, but I think these are about 12 ounces. So for that 12 ounces, I would carry a folding saw, like a silky saw, and in the brush and in the field, that would probably be a lot more useful to you than a pair of these. But if you're in a urban jungle where you have no use for an axe that weighs 2 pounds, you'd probably be better off served with like this and a pry bar. I'm not condoning doing anything illegal, but if you're talking like, you know, God forbid, like The Walking Dead, zombie apocalypse type thing, or maybe you don't believe in that, but whatever. But if you watch those shows and you see, you know, all the characters, I'm not a super diehard fanboy of Walking Dead. I haven't watched it in quite a while, but like there's some, I know this is a few years back, but they're living at a prison. Inside, they're bordered by chain link fence, and this would, I didn't bring any of that out here to sample, but this would easily cut through chain link fence. If you're going, there's a few episodes they're scavenging through the city, and this is on the first couple seasons, and they have to get through a fence or they're being chased down, and it's a 16-foot high fence. You could probably snip, 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 just cut a line up the fence, pull it open, crawl through, and put a carabiner through the bottom so then they couldn't pry it open, and they probably won't be smart enough. Or if you have some wire in your kit, just wire the fence back together. If there's certain doors or something like that that are only secured with a small padlock, these would serve just fine. And I am aging myself here, but I can still remember on one of the, I think it was the first or second season of Walking Dead, the guy with the RV, the old guy with the white beard, I think his name's Dale, he had a very expensive toolkit, and one of them asked for the bolt cutters, and he said like, oh, only if you bring them back or something like that. And so he loaned out a pair of his bolt cutters, but they were big ones, kind of like this. But having a pair of these in a urban, and if you're in like a city or even suburb, these would serve you just fine. And again, I don't condone like doing anything illegal, but there are certain circumstances where, for whatever reason, maybe hoodlums are trying to set up an ambush, and say they string wire across the road and you're trying to get to somewhere or away from somewhere, and you happen to see it before you your car runs into it, stop your car, clip the wires or whatever, go through, or they might roll some, you know, barbed wire or whatever the case may be. Especially post-collapse, but in a city, you're going to find a lot of wire and a lot of, and again, I'm not condoning anything illegal, but small padlocks that are more of a visual and psychological relief to the owners, like very small, whatever, that it'll probably stop 90% of people. I'm talking about those small master padlocks or small brass ones. You could just clip them off. So for more of an urban scenario, or if you're making an urban go bag or something like that, I think these could be one of the most indispensable tools in your kit, maybe along with a small pry bar. You might be able to get into places that you might otherwise wouldn't have been able to get into. But again, all the same, you know, laws and regulations still apply. And the other advantage to these, which the other videos that I watched on these regarding this subject, they didn't really talk about this, but to local law enforcement, these don't look exactly like bolt cutters. They look kind of like a bigger size of these at first glance. These look a lot different than these, something to keep in mind. These right away, oh, burglar tool. These, if you have them in a tool bag, just for home improvements or whatever, or say you keep a tool bag in your car, it's unlikely that they're going to search through your tool bag unless they have like probable cause. But they're you know, say if these are mixed in with these and some other tools like say a file, a pair of scissors, something like that, and then like you throw like hardware in, it's not like they're going to single these out. Because these, personally, at least to me, I think they look a lot like these diagonal cutters, just bigger. They kind of look like a pair of these. They don't scream bolt cutter right off the bat, which could be an advantage to you. And then you also have, you know, it's one thing to keep a pair of these in a tool bag and say like, oh, if I ever run into a nail that I don't want to pry out, I can cut it with this. And they're going to be like, yeah, come on. But you get a pair of these and you're like, yeah, they're heavy duty wire cutters. They don't say bolt cutter or anything. So you can say, no, they're a heavy pair of wire cutters. When I'm doing construction, sometimes I run into stubborn nails that I can't pry out or don't want to pry out. I grab the side of a nail like this to pry out wood, etc., etc. So another advantage some of the guys maybe talked about, but I didn't really see it, is these don't look like bolt cutters. They just don't. And again, I don't know why there's such a stigma against them. They're a very practical tool, but I digress. But yeah, they don't look like bolt cutters. So all in all, I think these could serve a big purpose, especially in, like I said, an urban kit, urban survival kit, something like that, or keeping them in your car, just keeping them around the house. Because, like, personally, a lot of people don't have a need for a pair of diagonal cutters when, yes, these cut wire, these have a wire cutter, and they're a pliers. So, like, you can say, oh, a lot of people don't have a need for diagonal cutters when almost every other set of pliers has wire cutters, and all this can do is cut wire, and these can do other things plus cut wire. So it's kind of that thing. I have a couple pair of these. I don't use them all the time, but you know, that's, I guess, kind of how it is with tools. So I mean, these you might not use all the time, but if you buy them, you'll probably find a use for them. Lots of uses for them, because especially if you're doing home repair or something like that, and you have nails, probably mostly like nails or screws. Some of them, the head strips out. So what you can do is like take a pair of like pliers and or like linesman pliers and rock it back and forth till it snaps, or you can just clip it off right at the surface. So all in all, these are the Knipex mini bolt cutters made in Germany. So far, it's kind of hard to describe, but very good quality. They're loose, but they're not all wobbly. And again, they're brand new, but something like this, it kind of like, they are cheap, but again, they serve me just well. They're called Power Master, made in Taiwan. I don't know. These are a little better quality GB, and they are rusted. I oiled them up, but again, I don't take as good care of my tools as I should. But you know, these are decent quality. You know, but something about these, because at the store they had some other Knipex products that I was kind of testing out or just feeling. Needle nose, cable cutters, diagonal cutters, linesman pliers, and they all just felt very, very high quality. So not only am I keeping these, but in the future I'm probably going to buy some other Knipex pliers and use them as kind of my go-to, and then just keep these for spares or something like that, or maybe sell them. So until next time, hope you like this video. I apologize that it was longer, but I just kind of wanted it to be more in depth, and there's only a few videos out there on YouTube about these. But like I said, this isn't like a long-term test, but just watching like other people's videos and just using them right now, nothing about them screams like, oh, these might break in 6 months, you know. So and I don't plan on doing like a long-term review because they're kind of simplistic. They do what they're supposed to do. So I mean, as long as maybe you keep them coated with oil, protect you from moisture, stuff like that. This coating might repel some of that corrosion, but as long as you just do kind of preventative maintenance, like I'm one to talk. But I think these could easily last your whole life. Probably give them to your grandkids or something like that. But if you like this video, like this content, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Leave a comment if you own a pair of these and you love them to death. Maybe also leave a comment if you found a better product than this, or you've used this pair so much that you've broke it or busted it. But until next time, this is Steve. Stay safe.